And we're back with Investing Insights with Barry Burnett, and we are delighted that you're here with us on Talk Radio 790 KABC. This is not your average radio home show. Yes, we love designer impact on dwellings. We love granite countertops and flooring, but that's not what this program is about. This is about you, the entrepreneurial investor. Yeah, you probably own your house and maybe several others, but you've also accumulated over your hard work other investments, real property that may be apartment buildings, shopping centers, office retail, and even up to high-rise office buildings. And this show is designed for you. It's not designed to talk to insurance companies, hedge funds, or banks. This is designed for you. You've fought hard, you've worked hard, and in order for you to have your life stronger, safer, smarter, so that you can run your property, so that your property doesn't run you, we have tonight a fantastic guest with content that you are going to have to write down. This is stuff you'll want to follow up on because it can make a really huge difference in your life. You've worked hard. If you're anywhere above 35 years old and you've accumulated anything, it's vital that you plan an exit strategy. You want to take care of your heirs. You want to take care of your vital plans, including what are you going to do about those things that you've always wanted to see come to fruition. You've worked hard and you have a charity in mind, something that's burning passion for you. How do you actually get there without losing it all, without having to sell everything, pay massive taxes to be able to take care of your family and your charities and continue to live life? Well, Greg Bodine, who is a gift and charity specialist. What's your title again, Greg?
Senior Gift and Estate Planner.
And you're with the Salvation Army, one of my favorite charities in life, something I've been very deeply and intimately involved with for many years. You've got 110 years of family history in the Army.
That's right.
And you got into this, and you're very passionate about this. Why is it that our listeners need to consider charitable giving?
Well, one of two reasons. Either they want to give to charity already, they're charitably inclined, or that's probably about 20% of the population, and then another 60% of the population could be charitably open. And there are probably 20% who never will. But the 60%, I especially want to speak to them because there are opportunities in their entrepreneurial real estate holdings and strategy and succession and exit strategy and estate and heirs and all, that charitable methods and entities can help tremendously with the family and with them.
I've watched it take massive burdens off the shoulders of very hardworking men and women who have worked all their lives, who have just basically had the property paint them into a corner, and they didn't know what to do to get out. And you have techniques. The one we were talking about earlier was Charitable Remainder Trust, and you called it something else.
I called it, well, there are a couple names. Actually, I should have mentioned this earlier. It's what I call the 664 exchange. Instead of a 1031, people might want to consider a 664 exchange.
Okay, you're driving along. You're thinking about writing this down. 664 exchange, Internal Revenue Code 664.
Right.
Now, you won't remember that, so go to the podcast or go on barryburnett.net. We'll connect you with Greg Bodine and our other spectacular experts. This is something you want to hear. Okay, so we've got the 664 exchange and what was the other you called it?
Capital Gains Bypass Trust.
Capital Gains Bypass
Actually,
Trust.
the word Charitable Remainder Trust, I don't know who created that name, probably some government person. The remainder is only what happens at the end of a trust. And by the way, a trust is just a property management contract. We should probably touch on that for a moment. Property management contract. Instead of owning property outright, I divide the role of the owner, the manager, and the beneficiary. Now, if I own something myself, I have all three roles. A trust simply separates those three roles.
Okay.
And the beneficiary, there's a lifetime beneficiary, and there's the after lifetime or remainder beneficiary. So It's really, I like to call them a life income charitable trust. Okay. That's what it really does.
Now, that's a lot more direct to the point.
Yes, it is.
So the 85-year-old lady in Studio City who gave 24 units to the Salvation Army, she got the net of what she would have gotten from operating the property for the balance of her life She didn't have any more tax benefits remaining in the property, so that didn't help her.
Right.
She gave the property to the Salvation Army through the trust. They operated it during the balance of her lifetime. Then the property becomes the Salvation Army's. Now, they're not going to operate it forever and ever, amen?
Right. We may sell the property, we may manage it, or we may manage it until we sell it or bring it up to a great condition to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But, right, we typically will sell them. If we are a trustee, and we don't have to be trustee, but if we are trustee, we'll probably sell the property at the right time and then have a...
And it benefits everybody.
It benefits everybody.
Okay. Now, you've got other techniques that you were going to talk about.
I'd like to talk about, this is an interesting story. A very prominent Arizona attorney has still oceanfront high-rise condo in La Jolla. And there are only, if you've been there, there's only 2 buildings in La Jolla because the Coastal Commission put a kibosh on any more high-rise developments on the beach. If you've been there, you probably remember.
Oh,
well, he has one of those units
above
the 10th floor. Beautiful ocean view. But he has 2 sons, both successful attorneys. He didn't want them fighting over the condo when he died.
Mm-hmm.
That was the reason why. He wasn't a philanthropic person necessarily, but because his advisor actually co-presented at a seminar I did, and we got to talking about what he could do, and he says, well, what can I do with this property? I don't want my sons fighting over it. So, well, you can put it into what's called a life estate,
mm-hmm.
which means if you draw like an imaginary dotted line halfway, vertically, half of it is the value of living in it the rest of your life, and half of it is the value to the charity. So you get a tax deduction when you transfer it by deed in a life estate arrangement.
Okay, so you transfer it by deed, but it's not a taxable transfer.
Because if you do it now, you can do it revocably, where you can take it back, and that's just a convenience to avoid probate and such, or you can do it irrevocably, which he did, which entitles you to a tax deduction because you're locking it up for the Salvation Army.
Okay, so he was not particularly charitably minded, but it was a spectacular end game for him, an exit strategy that kept his successful sons from being contentious with one another. Now, if you have ever been a part of a family, there is the possibility for contention.
Right. But wait, there's more.
Oh, boy.
Because when we were sitting in his advisor's office, I asked him, so would you like an income while you have this condo in the life estate? He says, oh, you can do that too? I said, well, yes. If you're 80, in our case, our policy, if you're 80 years old and above, we'll do what's called a gift annuity for the life estate, for the remainder portion of the life estate.
A gift annuity.
Gift annuity. So that's a fixed dollar amount. So he's basically getting paid $36,000 a year while living in his condo, and he had a huge, it was $1 million property. Now it's about $1.3 million, last I checked. So he gets income tax deduction, and a wonderful family unity preservation plan.
Wow. Isn't that an exciting strategy? And you've got a lot more. So you've got to keep listening. You've been driving down the highway. You're saying to yourself, okay, this makes sense to me. I've got properties that are just driving me nuts. I've got stuff I need to deal with an exit strategy. Charitable Remainder Trust is just a tip of the iceberg standardized word, and it's actually a capital gains avoidance trust. And this one you're talking about is a gift trust or a trust and estate for life.
It's a combination of a life estate and a gift annuity combined to give him that income while he can live in the house, rent the house.
So he generates the income and he continues to be able to use the property.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. So stay tuned to Investing Insights with Barry Burnett so that you can make your life as an entrepreneurial investor stronger, safer, smarter. We'll be right back with much more. Stay tuned.